Hello, welcome to the United Man. My name is Shane. This is the Manchester United v Chelsea match review. Just going to be going over some of the best and worst case performances that we displayed today. The man of the match, who I felt also made an impact but didn't quite make it to man of the match. How we did overall, and a lot more. We starting with the first half. First half, we couldn't really keep possession of the ball in the dangerous areas of the pitch. Now, we started off with a lot of possession, but we kept giving it up to Chelsea in dangerous areas for them to actually go on and hurt us. In saying that, when they did get forward, they couldn't actually penetrate as much as they would have liked. We did manage to stay solid. We had some good individual battles as well. You saw Harry Maguire winning out against Tammy Abraham 9 times out of 10. You also saw Aaron Wan-Bissaka when he saw Emerson going down Chelsea's left wing coming up against him. He tried a couple of times, couldn't get past him, so he stopped trying to go down that side altogether. Such was the impact that Wan-Bissaka had down that right side. Also, the shape didn't look too great. We seemed to change our shape on a few occasions in the first half as well, because we kept being overloaded on our left-hand side, where it was Rashford and Luke Shaw. On a number of occasions, it seemed like it's almost like Rashford was told not to track Azpilicueta back, and as a result, Shaw kept getting doubled on, and they looked dangerous from that side. Now, I know Azpilicueta offensively isn't one of the best going forward, but he's still going to do damage if you just don't do anything with him and just let him go. Also, in the first half, Pereira and Pogba didn't really create much. They didn't really look to control the game either. Now, I know Pogba can be an influence in that specific area, but between McTominay and not really making an impact in terms of winning the ball much, and Pogba just really looking a little bit disinterested in that first half. And as I say, Pereira looking a little bit out of his depth in the first half. It just kept breaking down, and we also kept giving it to Chelsea in dangerous areas for them to attack us. Obviously, with our pressing, that seemed to come to fruition with Rashford obviously getting his goal, where we've won it back high up the pitch. He's broke forward, come inside. Kurt Zuma's obviously fouled him for the penalty, and it was a very good placed penalty in the top left corner for Rashford. So I've got to give him props for that as well. In the second half, we looked a lot more composed on the ball. We had 10 times better shape, which put us in a position to absorb some of the Chelsea pressure and start to break and obviously hit them on a counter, which is one of our, if not our, most dangerous threat. We was absolutely devastating on the break, and Chelsea couldn't live with us. The pace that we have starting and obviously coming off the bench with Daniel James, the pace that we have, that very few teams, if any, in the world will be able to hang with that. Like I say, if we soak up some of the pressure and then you go bang, and you're breaking up the pitch, you're going as quickly as you can. Now, very few teams, if any, as I say, will be able to handle that, and we exploited Chelsea's weakness in that front magnificently, and it showed with Anthony Martial's goal, where we broke, and obviously the ball went from obviously Rashford dribbling it up. Obviously, it went to the right-hand side. Pereira done well to get past Zuma and cross it in, and Martial stood his ground and tapped it in. As I mentioned before, though, I really do believe that the pressing reared its head on us winning the ball high up the pitch or in the middle third of the pitch, where obviously for Rashford's second goal, where we won it in the middle of the park, obviously it's come across to Pogba. Pogba's then put an absolute peach of a pass over the top. Rashford, fantastic control and a brilliant clinical finish from Rashford. So I'm pleased to see Rashford and Martial scoring, because as I said before, and we all agreed, that them two guys will have to have 15 to 20 goal seasons for us to get anywhere near the top 2 or 3. So for them to both score in their first game, and also Daniel James coming in and scoring, it's very encouraging, because for us to do anything in this league, we'll need to get more goals. As I mentioned before, we hadn't scored 70 goals in the Premier League since Fergie left. So for us to get anywhere near that, we'll need at least 3 players in the 15 to 20 mark, and then the rest will be shared throughout the team. So it was very encouraging to see both Martial and Rashford getting a score sheet, and then Daniel James kind of coming on looking very dangerous, I may add, and getting a goal also. Now, just to highlight some of the outstanding players in the game, as you'll see in the graphics already, you'll see that I've highlighted Marcus Rashford as our man of the match. Could have gone with possibly Harry Maguire, because Harry Maguire as well was outstanding on this game. But Rashford, for me, when he did go over onto that left side, as I said before, Martial's more of a natural striker than Rashford in terms of his positional sense and finishing. But what you saw from Rashford when he went to the left, as Azpilicueta was just breaking, Rashford started working his magic on him and stopping him from breaking, and subsequently he's got the energy and the stamina to get up and down, as you saw. So Rashford, in all phases of the play, where he was getting back and blocking off Azpilicueta in the second half, so that was no longer a viable option for Chelsea down our left-hand side. And obviously, as I say, he's got the energy and the stamina to get back up the top end and score himself. To go with Rashford's 2 goals, as I said, his overall body of work for me just pipped him, made him pip Harry Maguire over the line for the man of the match. But as I said, Maguire, he just looked immense. He looked like the colossal centre-back that we've been missing for so many years since Vidic and Rio left. Now, for me, he was the missing part. Now, as I said, for me, my very first signing would have been a centre-back, purely because it's something we've been missing. Lindelof has been ready, he proved himself ready last season, and Lindelof as well had a very good game today. But Harry Maguire was outstanding. His physical prowess, his positional sense, his calmness, his organisation and communication there. You can see it at the back and the influence that it has. So when it looked like Chelsea were dangerously breaking on us, and they tried a free ball, all of a sudden Maguire's there sticking his leg out, not booting it away, but controlling it, and then start recycling and starting off an attack for us again. And Wan-Bissaka had a very good game again. Defensively, I'm running out of words of what we can say about Wan-Bissaka, because the lad, he's just solid. Defensively, you get nothing from him. Now, you hear the stories of when he was at Crystal Palace, and when Wilfried Zaha come up against him in training, he'd get angry because he just couldn't get past Wan-Bissaka. Now, as I mentioned before, you saw Emerson going down his side a couple of times. Then when he couldn't get past him, he just stopped going at. He didn't stop going forward, Emerson, but he stopped going directly at Wan-Bissaka. When he saw he was up against Wan-Bissaka, he'd opt out for a pass rather than taking him on directly. However, offensively, you can see still that there's some work to be done with Wan-Bissaka, but that's fine. That's not a problem at all. I'd much rather Wan-Bissaka be a defensive stalwart and just not give anything defensively first, rather than being offensively good and then trying to learn the game defensively. So I'm good with him trying to learn the game in terms of going forward more. You saw him, you did see him eventually get a crossing, whip a crossing, which was a dangerous cross. But on a couple of occasions where he got the ball further at the pitch and he sort of stopped with the play, dilly-dallied a little bit, and didn't really make anything of the opportunity when he was on the ball. But overall, it was really very good performance. As you'll see there as well, my other 2 that I've gone for is Pogba and Anthony Martial. Pogba, so for me in the first half, he didn't really get into the game whatsoever. He looked very disinterested. The work rate, again, I've seen him work harder, but although he did try to put himself about, but we just looked like the ball was going to come straight through the centre mid at every single occasion that Chelsea broke. Now, the second half, when he did decide to turn up, you can see what he can do. When he broke forward, bringing the ball up top, he literally drove. I remember seeing Yaya Toure doing that quite a few times at Man City when he was there. Now, when you see Pogba in full flight, driving at the heart of the opposition's team, there's very few sights that I enjoy seeing better. Now, he didn't just drive forward. He stayed composed to find Daniel James, and Daniel James, obviously, with the deflected finish, which ended up with making it 4-0. Martial's overall performance wasn't the best that he's played, but he did look very, very dangerous when he was in the opposition's third. Now, he tried it quite a few times to link up with Rashford. It came off a couple of times it didn't. But as I said, for Martial's goal, Rashford wouldn't have been in that position. It it's more natural for Martial to be in that position. Just literally standing there, waltzing into the penalty area, standing there waiting for the ball to come to him, his tap goes in. So for me, that's a proper striker's goal. And that's one that Martial, I'd expect to get another 5 or 6 of them throughout the season. And it was encouraging to see him do that. That was my match review. Guys, if you like, don't forget to share, subscribe, comment, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. And what we'll do, we'll catch up probably a bit later with a live stream as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.